problems. That guy, he just has to touch you once.
Shit's going down.
He's so different than anybody else in the division. Like, he knocks everybody out. Everybody hits hard. They all hit hard.
But he
that
pushed down.
dude hits hard.
Robert. Oh, sorry, when you've done.
Yeah, so them ones with the A, Robert. Okay.
Yeah.
We sent it.
Answer. Anthony Joshua is Olympic champion. First. Yeah. Jack Paul, it's sportsman, YouTuber, showman. Rolls Royce, Fiat.
Joe Rogan never holds back. In his latest reaction to Anthony Joshua sparring Oleksandr Usyk ahead of a Jake Paul fight caused major waves. On his podcast, Rogan broke down the strange yet fascinating dynamics, questioning why two elite heavyweight champions will be involved in preparations for a spectacle-driven bout centered around Paul's name. The discussion sparked debate across boxing and MMA communities worldwide overnight instantly. Blending skepticism, admiration, his blunt style, Rogan's take his fans buzzing about what this unusual training alliance could mean, not only for Jake Paul, but for the broader boxing landscape as well.
Not a chance that Anthony Joshua is not going to just lose the weight beforehand. He's not going to come in drained. What he's going to do is just do extra cardio, and that's just going to make him more dangerous. He's going to be terrifying, and he's going to have a lot to prove. He's going to be very angry.
Instead of training in the UK with his usual team under Ben Davidson, Joshua revealed at a recent press conference that he would work with members of Usyk's camp to prepare for his December 19 fight in Miami. He called the collaboration both phenomenal and challenging, praising the expertise and success of Usyk's team, while clarifying that the Ukrainian champion himself was not sparring with him daily.
Find the belief in yourself, not in somebody else's system. You know what I mean? It's like Usyk's team might show him bits and bats of stuff. He doesn't box like Usyk. Can they train AJ to be similar to what Usyk's doing? AJ, you've got to pick out the best of what AJ does, and you've got to pick out the worst and improve the worst in him. And I'll say it time and time again. For me, the best trainer he ever had was Robert McCracken. It might not be what people want to hear, but he had him from the stages in the amateurs, from being a young mind, brought him through, guided. He had a good view of what the competition was out there, where to put him, you know, where to manoeuvre him, when to take fights, when not to take fights. And he'd invested a lot of time in him, Robert McCracken. So it was the payoff. Now, when you go to, you know, if AJ came here or he goes to Ben Davidson, or you're going to be in for a big payday as a trainer. It's a lot of responsibility to take on. You know, Ben Davis is a good trainer. He's trained AJ for so many fights, brought him back. He'll have got paid handsomely. Everybody wants to train AJ because it's a good payday. So, but sometimes you have to think to yourself, are you capable of training that fighter? You know, people have come to me wanting me to train. I said, to be honest, we're not going to match. You know, what I want to do and what I want you to do is not going to work. So I just think AJ is looking for that secret ingredient.
Training with experienced members of Usyk's camp, Anthony Joshua is honing a full spectrum of offensive and defensive skills with relentless focus. Observers note his dedication to constant improvement, whether refining footwork, sharpening timing, or perfecting combinations. His approach is deliberate yet adaptable, allowing him to experiment with techniques in a structured setting. The camp provides sparring partners who simulate realistic fight scenarios, keeping Joshua sharp and battle-ready. With fight night approaching, every session gains extra significance, strengthening both his physical capabilities and mental resilience. His regimen highlights his understanding that meticulous preparation, tactical growth, and adaptability are crucial to success in boxing.
Simon, I think he's at that stage of his career where he's trying to rediscover a little bit of that confidence. He's gone to Oleksandr Usyk, where we're hearing reports he's out there training with Usyk and the team, trying to pick up something, trying to rediscover something.
That's very strange, Paul, isn't it?
It is, but it's not unheard of. I've heard of a lot of fighters doing that. You see fighters, obviously, it's the old Rocky movies years ago, but you see a fighter losing to someone, all of a sudden they go in the camp and they start training and do little bits together and become friends or whatever else. I think it'll do Joshua no harm travelling, but as you say, he's a little bit long in the tooth, and he's a bit on the back nine rather than the front nine, where that experience would really come into play. But I'm just looking at his record here. He obviously, after the Usyk fight, he'd come back and he had 3 fights, and then the Ngannou demolition job.
Yeah, Jermaine Franklin, he had Robert Helene, he had Otto Wallin, and he smashed Ngannou, which everyone went hallelujah for, right?
Yeah, but he's obviously not in like the boxrec rankings to see where he is. But the Dubois fight is a fight where, what you've just said then, Spencer, like, match him right. I felt he was match right with Dubois. That's just my opinion.
Just
obviously, I was wrong on that, and I was proved wrong, but I felt like Joshua would have and should have came through that, but he obviously didn't. So therefore, it's back to the drawing board, and where do you go from there? What do you do from there? Does he keep the same team around him? Does he go and find someone new and try and adapt and add to his repertoire already? And this move at Usyk, I don't know what it'll be, but if he's fighting before Christmas, then he needs to get in shape quick, because there's only 8 weeks to go, let's say.
Well, my understanding, he's in camp, he's in shape, and just looking to get out and get back to winning ways, is my understanding. That's why they're talking about 8-rounders.
Yeah.
He wants to sort of go under the radar a little bit, and it's difficult for someone like Anthony Joshua because he's such
Very
a
much so.
commercial commodity.
He's always been in shape all the time, hasn't he?
Yeah.
He always will be in shape. He's never, ever not been...
But it's not about his
dedicated.
physical shape, is it? No one's ever questioned his physical state. Zach, when I was talking about Anthony Joshua, and I know that the president of his fan club is here in Spencer, but I talked about the PTSD issue post various fights, whether it be the Oleksandr Usyk or the Daniel Dubois situation. But prior to Daniel Dubois, I always maintained that I felt that despite the performance against Jermaine Franklin, despite the performance against Robert Helenius, which had been blasted out by Deontay Wilder.
While Joshua hasn't been sparring Usyk regularly, he has fully immersed himself in the Ukrainian champion's training environment, working with the elite coaches behind Usyk's 2-time undisputed heavyweight reign. Joshua is gaining valuable insights from their high-level boxing system. He has described the experience as a crucial step in refining his skills, offering unique preparation to tackle Jake Paul's unconventional style in the upcoming fight.
Going to that camp just for Jake Paul, because he could have gone to fucking my camp to beat Jake Paul.
AJ's been in camp with Usyk.
Taking it seriously for it to get fucked off at the final minute.
What better camp to go join than the master himself?
What he's doing is he knows that he's got, 1, maybe 2 years left, maybe 2 years. So he's gone to the Usyk camp. There's motivation behind that, you know what I mean?
Yes.
You're not going to that camp just for Jake Paul, because he could have gone to fucking my camp to beat Jake Paul. But he's going to that camp for the future of next year, where he could be fighting Dubois, could be fighting.
Conor McGregor has shared his blunt and cautionary perspective on the Jake Paul versus Anthony Joshua fight, warning that the bout is extremely dangerous and perhaps shouldn't happen at all. He highlighted Joshua's devastating power and experience as a former world champion, noting that anyone stepping into the ring with him commands respect. At the same time, McGregor acknowledged the serious physical risks Paul faces in taking on such a formidable opponent. Despite his doubts about the sporting logic of a high-profile crossover fight, McGregor stated he would respect Paul if he fully commits to the challenge, recognizing the courage required for such a matchup.
He's going to get knocked out by AJ though, isn't he?
If he makes that walk, that's got to give him his respect. It's very dangerous, It seems like referees are all over him. It's a dangerous sport. You can't overlook that. Joshua's a big boy and a powerhouse. I've sat ringside and watched Joshua. That's a heavy punching man, and he's a happy and he's a good kid. He has an anger in him. He has a darkness in him. Does Anthony Joshua? I don't think a lot of people sus that. So, the fight shouldn't go ahead. In my opinion, the fight shouldn't go ahead. If he does it,
UFC President Dana White delivered a sharp critique of the highly anticipated Anthony Joshua versus Jake Paul fight, calling it a mismatch that threatens the integrity of professional boxing. Never one to avoid controversy, White questioned the legitimacy of a bout pitting a seasoned former world heavyweight champion against a YouTube star turned boxer. His comments quickly ignited debates on social media, with fans split over whether the matchup is a clever marketing strategy or a spectacle that undermines the sport. White was blunt, arguing that Joshua stepping into the ring with Paul makes little sense for boxing and could set a dangerous precedent where fame and clicks overshadow skill and experience. While acknowledging that celebrity fights can generate huge pay-per-view numbers, he warned that they risk turning the sport into a sideshow, diluting the true test of athletic ability and the centuries-long tradition of merit-based competition in boxing.
around him that will be saying to him, mate, Anthony hasn't boxed for a year and a half. Mate, Anthony got dropped in his last fight. Anthony's head's all over the place. He's gone. So listen, fair fucking play. If he steps up and fights AJ, I will be the first to hold my hands up and go, fair fucking play. He'd have to be crazy to do it. He would have to be crazy to do it. Jake Paul's never really fought anyone major, like, you know, when's he going to step up and fight a real fighter? I mean, this would definitely be one way to kill that narrative, but it would be a dangerous one. If we're offered it, and the money that I know is inevitable in a fight like that, it would be very difficult for us to turn it down. And I know some people will find a reason to not like it and moan, but I'm just going to give it to you straight always. We were going to have a run out this year in an 8-rounder against someone in the top, I don't know, 120 on BoxRec that you've never heard of. We could have a run out against Jake Paul, end him in boxing forever, get rid of this whole little silly thing, and make about 50 or 60x in the process. How can you turn it down? So if it's real, there is a chance. Jake's won fights that I didn't think he'd win. And Jake has got a lot better over the last couple of years. He ain't in Anthony Joshua's league, that's for sure. The only way this fight happens, if it's a fight, it's a sanctioned fight. I mean, ultimately, it's a cruiserweight stepping up to fight a heavyweight. I mean, previously, what did you have? You had a lightweight fighting a cruiserweight, but that was an exhibition. This is no exhibition. This is the 10-ounce big boys, and this is a real fight. We've already really got our plans with Turki Al-Sheikh for 2026, which is ultimately to fight Tyson Fury, but also to have another fight in February. We got the phone call to say, look, obviously Gervonta's out. Would you be interested in December? And the only other options we had for December was to do an 8-rounder on a card somewhere, which I didn't even know was going to happen. So I said to Nikisa, if you're truthful about this, which he assures me Jake is, then it could happen. So let's live in the real world, yeah? And let's just, everybody stay calm and make logical business decisions. What would you do, right? And please don't give me the, yes, but you have to think about the legacy here. You can't eat legacy, and legacy is so important. By the way, he's an Olympic gold medalist, a 2-time world heavyweight champion. The legacy's okay. I wouldn't let him not take this fight. I would push him in the ring to take this fight. So if you want to blame someone, blame me. Just relax. One, I don't even know if it's going to happen. Two, if it does, just relax. Enjoy us going in there for boxing and sticking one on his chin. We'll go back, we'll fight Tyson Fury, etc. So just relax. But how can you say no?
Professional boxer Liam Cameron shared his perspective on public expectations surrounding the fight, noting that most fans anticipate Joshua to dominate due to his Olympic background and extensive professional experience. He also observed that some spectators may derive entertainment from a potentially lopsided contest, expecting moments that highlight the clear skill gap. This perception, Cameron explained, places additional pressure on Paul to display adaptability, resilience, and showmanship. His insights underline how audience psychology significantly shapes crossover boxing events, affecting both the marketing of the fight and the way fighters strategize and perform in the ring.
You don't like Jake Paul? AJ is going to do you a favour because he's going to flatten him. But big props to that Jake Paul for getting it ring with him. Listen to this, he's a multi-millionaire. Multi-millionaire. You don't have to box. And he's fighting him. He's either a madman or he knows something we don't know. But people like saying, oh, I won't take this Jake Paul fight. Listen, every boxer on the planet would fight Jake Paul for money. I'd fight Anthony Joshua for money. I'd get flattened, but I'd fight him. So yeah, I think people sometimes have to watch what they say and think about it.
Boxing analyst Joey Knight issued a stark warning regarding Jake Paul's motivations and the potential outcomes of his fight with Anthony Joshua. Knight suggested that Paul's main drive is the attention and viral moments the bout can create, rather than traditional professional ambition. While this doesn't imply a lack of preparation or seriousness on Paul's part, it frames the matchup within a realm of entertainment-focused boxing. Knight emphasized the contrast between the fighters' priorities: Joshua's dedication to technical mastery and legacy versus Paul's pursuit of exposure and fan engagement. This dynamic complicates predictions and adds narrative layers to the highly publicized matchup.
A lot of cash, maybe not as much as the Anthony Joshua fight, but a lot of cash, and can still have a serious chance of going on to earn even more paydays. Whereas the damage that it could do to his body could be irreversible for that opportunity to earn money in a boxing career going forward. So is this the retirement bag, Or do you actually think you can win? Because I read a study recently, and I believe it said something along the lines of men overemphasize or overcalculate their ability to fight by about 500 times. And I'm saying Jake Paul would probably need to be 500 times better to stand a chance against Anthony Joshua. And I can't get how he doesn't already know this. Surely he has sparred with heavyweights. Surely the recent sparring that he had with the likes of Shakur Stevenson and with the likes of Ray Ford, amongst others, Badu Jack, surely that would have taught you that there are levels to boxing. And if these small guys are able to show you things that you had no idea that you were vulnerable to in a boxing ring, what happens when someone who hits 4, 5, 6 times as hard as that does the exact same thing to you and lands it on your chin? The whole reason of why I know where I am in the influencer boxing scene, in the misfit scene, is because of the level that I have sparred at. I've sparred boys that have gone on to box for world titles. I've sparred with English champions, and I've sparred with loads of...
Legendary ring announcer Michael Buffer has recognized the significant impact Jake and Logan Paul have had on modern boxing, particularly in attracting younger audiences and generating renewed interest in the sport. He noted that their participation in high-profile bouts has infused boxing with energy and excitement not seen in years, drawing fans who might never have engaged with the sport otherwise. While some purists question the legitimacy of crossover fights, Buffer emphasizes that the Paul brothers' ability to create anticipation, craft compelling storylines, and capture mainstream attention cannot be overlooked. Their involvement has expanded boxing's overall fan base and increased media coverage, providing a larger platform for established athletes to reach new demographics. By blending entertainment appeal with legitimate athletic competition, these bouts have created opportunities for growth and engagement within the sport. Buffer sees this as a positive development, highlighting that dynamic promotion and high-profile matchups help boxing evolve while still respecting the skill, tradition, and competitive integrity at the core of the sport, ultimately benefiting both athletes and fans alike.
Jake and Logan, first of all, are fantastic athletes. In what's opened up with the WWE and Jake does boxing, he knocks people out and everything. And they both have massive fan bases. And for me, it's great to see people get young people that follow them that didn't have they don't remember Ali or Joe Frazier or whatever. It's not in their wheelhouse. So it's great to see them developing fight fans and a big fight atmosphere. So it's very exciting.
These two stood face to face, and the comment section on the internet was going crazy. They were like, call the ambulance now, basically. Like Anthony Joshua looks dangerous standing next to him.
Anthony Joshua is, at this time, and has been for years, the biggest puncher in boxing. He's a devastating puncher. So I got to give Jake a lot of credit for wanting to take this fight.
Yeah, it's not. A lot of people saying it's not smart. If he somehow was able to surprise the world, what does this do for him?
The word would be surprised if he shocked the world. But that's exactly why you got to give him credit. He wants to do it. He trains hard, he works hard, and he has a lot of faith in himself. So we'll see what happens.
Technically, though, what's the biggest concern for you what's the biggest tip you can give Jake, knowing that you've watched Anthony so many times now?
Many fans are eager to see Anthony Joshua face Jake Paul, largely believing Joshua would dominate and humble him in the ring. Paul's habit of calling out elite fighters and proclaiming himself superior has made him one of the most polarizing figures in combat sports. For many, his confidence in challenging Joshua seems delusional given the vast gap in experience, skill, and physical size. Yet, the matchup has generated massive attention. Paul has made it clear the fight is happening and believes he has a solid plan to win. He has publicly embraced the challenge of facing a former 2-time heavyweight world champion, insisting he isn't intimidated by Joshua's size or power. Paul intends to use his speed, movement, and boxing IQ to outbox the bigger man, aiming to pick him apart throughout the bout. He has even predicted a knockout around the 5th or 6th round, confident in his ability to avoid Joshua's heavy shots. Taking the fight seriously, Paul has sparred with top-level opponents to prepare and build confidence for one of the biggest contests of his career.
Entertainment purposes, and I can do a little bit of everything. So I can be the heel, the villain, I could be a jackass, I could shit talk, I could be investor, businessman, CEO, boxer, whatever it is. You know the drill. The current state of modern entertainment, you got to do it all. You got to play across the board and be good at all these things. But I've been in this game for 12, 13 years now, and seen a lot of people fall by the wayside, but me and my brother have just worked hard and been super calculated and know what we're doing in this space.
I think the work ethic is obviously absurd, and you guys are a couple of Ohio fucks at your core, so we have massive respect for that. But obviously talent and having to understand where the world is going is a forethought that not a lot of people have in history. You're a trailblazer, you know that. Now let's get to your boxing career. You've been very, very, very upfront about how you want to be a world champion. You focus your entire life to boxing, it seems. We've seen you in other eras and chapters of your life where you're doing a lot of things. Then you turned your focus fully to boxing. You said boxing saved your life. You fell in love with it. Now you're taking on a guy who has done the same thing with boxing for most of his life. He has loved it. He has invested in it. He has fought the greats. He's been in the biggest fights. He's been champion. I think a lot of us were very surprised that this would be happening. How do you feel just a few days out? And what went into the decision to fucking fight Anthony Joshua?
Yeah, look, to me, I see a lot of paths to victory in his style, and styles make fights. We all know that. He's lost to guys who are shorter mostly and lighter mostly, and faster than him. I see holes in his game. I see punches that I can land.
Drop your thoughts in the comments below